right, because yeah, half the kids who we went to school with and grew up with went to a different school. We didn't see them again until like high school, right? Unless we were playing sports or went to the same church. And back then, like half everybody went to church, except here it was less than half of everybody went to church because a lot of the OB folks didn't. It was different. It was different back then because OB wasn't gentrified yet. When they remember you, it's either because you're good or you're bad, never because you're in between. Mm-hmm. Right? And so OB in the late 60s, early 70s was a biker town. It was a Hells Angels town, right? And so there was a definitely between the kids that came from like Loma Portal and the kids that came from OB Elementary School, there was a definite break in social economic backgrounds, right? And yeah, that was a big issue with my parents. It was a big issue with my parents because, you know, we were at school with the quote unquote less desirables. And that was the way, and you know, I don't know, I don't know what it's like now, but, you know, that's the way it was back then. OB was it was not a nice neighborhood, you know, it was, and, it was just a lot different. And sitting in group with these guys is like, it's like, I see these guys in group and the way they're behaving in group going like, God, that was me. That was exactly how I was when I was that age. Because most of them were in like 7th grade, right? When I got to Collier in 7th grade, that's when I started experimenting with drugs and alcohol. And it was while I was incarcerated, I got involved in recovery, and part of that recovery, I met a bunch of people, and you know, I can remember being in a jail cell one night, writing in my journal that you know, at some time I want to work with at-risk youth so that they don't end up going through what I went through, growing up and as an adult, right? Because it all started as a kid in school. You know, when the substance use and abuse started, that's what it was, and then it just couldn't stop, right? And when I first started doing Boys Men, there was a young man that was graduating from high school, and he wanted to play football in college because he was hoping to get an athletic scholarship. He did not get an athletic scholarship, but he got a full ride scholarship to UC Riverside on his academics, which is just, you know, that was amazing, right? Because here's a kid that wanted to be an athlete, right? And by being an athlete, he knew he had to get good grades. And by getting good grades, he knew he'd get the better chance at playing football at a better school, right? And that didn't work out for him, but he still got his full ride scholarship for academics, which was just amazing. Just amazing. If we can, you know, if we can reach 1 or 2 boys at a school in 1 year, I mean, that's a huge success, right? It's a huge success. So it may not be what I want to say to my younger self, or maybe it is what I want to say to my younger self, but, you know, I keep hearing my dad or my mentor, because my dad was my mentor, he was my, you know, and hearing him telling me things and me saying, yeah, I wish I would have listened to you then, right? And because if I would have listened to you then, and instead of saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and said, yeah, you know what, you do, because you've been through this. If I would have listened to him then and understood that, you know, he's been through that and he knows what's going on, that I might have made different life choices, and I wouldn't be sitting here saying that, yeah, you know, every day my dad keeps getting smarter and smarter, you know, and he's been dead for like 27 years, but he's still getting smarter, because I can still hear him when I was in junior high school telling me stuff, saying that, you don't want to do that because you're going to pay for it later, or there's going to be consequences later if you don't change the way you're behaving now. And that's what I hear. That's what I hear, and that's what I would tell my younger self right now is like, yeah, listen up. You should have listened, and so hopefully someone does.